We are building the welcome message project from the YByte Python curriculum available at www.ybyte.in. We just created this function called nameString where we are passing in keyword arguments. That's why 2 stars. And recall, we just discussed that this inside the function becomes like a dictionary that we can now work on. Now, in this video, we'll see how we'll develop this function. But before I move forward, I just want to remind you once again that while we are looking at a lot of interesting concepts, a lot of very useful concepts we just saw, for example, let's say args, try and except, and so on. Keep in mind that this activity, end of the day, is a fun activity. None of what we are doing is very serious, and I want you to keep that in mind, because that is when you will enjoy this whole thing without getting overwhelmed with all the other details that are coming in. Just look at, for example, our short form function. It's creating a short form. Again, not a very serious thing. It's just kind of picking up some letters and creating a code. We are going to follow with the same spirit in our nameString function. None of this is very serious. This is just basically, for fun. Important to keep this in mind, because that is when you'll be creative. Perhaps you may want to do nameString differently. You may want to find strength of the address. You may want to find the strength of, let's say, name and address. Doesn't matter. You can expand this in many ways. But the usage is what we are trying to learn from here. Now, in order to illustrate, let's say, my nameString, again, like I said, this is not very serious. I just go back to the demonstration project. Basically, I want the person to provide me name, surname, nickname, alias, and let's say also known as. You can add more keys to this. Notice I have a dictionary called strength, from which I have taken these. The way I'll compute this nameString is basically, let's say I provide only my name is, let's say, Vineet. Well, it tells me my name strength is 60. That's because I've got 6 characters in my name, and I give 10 points to each character that's part of the name. That's why 60. Let's see what happens if I give, let's say, a surname as well. Now here it's nice for me because my surname is long. So let's say I say surname is equal to, say, Srivastava. Clearly my name strength would go up dramatically because I've got 10 letters in here, I guess. Yes, I've got 10 letters in here. And for each letter, I am giving 20 points. Now, clearly this is just for fun. These numbers can be changed. Let's say I give myself a big, huge alias from my nameString function. So I go and say, well, let's say alias is equal to Mr. Bombastic and Fantastic, let's say, right? I mean, that's not my real name or alias, but whatever. If I give this, suddenly my nameString will shoot up dramatically, right? So the point is, this is just for fun. Be creative here. We are going to do something similar as we develop this. So I define a dictionary called strength. Now this dictionary, notice, is being defined outside the function, which means it's available to be inside. I just say, well, let's say I use the same keys. So say name is, for example, 10. Now again, you can change all of this. Say surname is perhaps, let's say maybe 20 points per letter. Let's say nickname is maybe say 30. Let's say if I provide, let's say alias, I get, so alias is a key. I get, for example, let's say 40 points per letter. And finally, if I provide, let's say also known as, kind of almost like alias, but anyway, I get, let's say 50 points. So I'm kind of incentivized to provide all this alias and aka and make them quite long, right? But that's just known to the developer, perhaps not to the player upfront, right? But with experimentation, you figure this out. Now remember, my full name here is a dictionary, which means that I can choose to, let's say, comment out these. I can go and say, look for key value in, let's say, full name dot items. Now we have seen this before. We can iterate on a dictionary's keys. We can iterate on the dictionary's values. We can iterate on them together by using key full name dot item. So that is dictionary's item. So I'm going to define a result outside. I'll say, well, look, result is equal to result plus strength. Now remember, this strength refers to the dictionary on line number 30. So I say strength, let's say the key value, because remember the keys are matching, times the length of the value. Now I hope this is not confusing, because remember, value here refers to the value of the dictionary full name. Key here refers to the keys of the dictionary full name, but the same keys have been used, for example, in the strength dictionary. So this statement kind of works for me. Once I, let's say, do this, I can just go and say, look, return the result. So that will tell me the name strength. Now, obviously, this is, just for fun, right? So it doesn't mean one name is stronger than others, but just for the fun, right? And clearly, it can be done differently. But let's see this working. So I go and say Python 3 minus I, let's say wm.py. So I can, as before, create a short form. Let's just say I create, say, for example, short form, say 0. Let's say I'm very, very lazy. I just give my name here. Just tells me, hopefully you managed to pass this. I do hope I managed to pass the test, pass this stage. I go and create my name strength. Now remember, this function name strength expects keyword argument. So I provide my name, let's say is Winnie. I provide, maybe let's say my alias is say hero, just for the sake of it. When I do this, might get my name strength to be 220. That's because, well, name strength 60 points from here, and I guess 80 points from alias, because, well, 160 points from the alias, because every alias gives me 40 points. Obviously, I can provide more fields. In fact, I don't have to go in any order. So I can just go and say, oh yeah, I can also give you my surname. So I go and give surname is, let's say, equal to Srivastava. So, and clearly my name strength would increase, because that is 20 points per letter of my surname. I can choose to give, for example, let's say here, I also give maybe an AKA is equal to, let's say, maybe hero, or let's say, well, Y byte, let's say Y byte, say Y byte. If I do this, again, my name strength increases. Now, while I can give, these arguments, keyword arguments in any order, if I by mistake repeat them, for example, here I've already given alias and I give alias again, that causes a syntax error. So that's not allowed. Let's assume user is not doing that, and gives it only once. I just give the keyword arguments like this, and the name strength is, returned. Now, clearly, like I said, this is all for fun. You can have a different function. You can have these strengths being different. You can, in fact, have different fields in here, different keys in here, but try to see how this code has come together. The important point is this full name is now a dictionary, and this is something we have done before. We are just iterating on top of the dictionary. Be creative, come up with different functions here with the same architecture. Again, if you think this way of learning where we apply creative ideas, make it fun, apply concepts is something that you like, look at our website, because that is how we learn programming. Take care. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.